We are back with another episode of the Who You Got podcast. It's Sunday. We got Ryan. We got Jimmy. We are fired up. I'm going to start the show, boys, quickly with follow us on X at Who You Got 33. Follow us on YouTube. Jimmy, what's the TikTok handle? Is it Who You Got? How do we get there?
Who You Got 33.
All right, beautiful. Hit that like, subscribe button. Tell a friend. Ryan, get us some people out there in Maryland. I want a big following in Maryland. The whole state should be listening.
Love it.
But I'm going to start with a word here, and it's simple, Ryan. Fraud. And I got a couple of them, and I'm pissed about it. Tampa, Detroit, two huge frauds in this league, and we all fell for it. Baker, you were a flash in the pan. It's over. You can't beat Carolina. Time to get rid of Baker, Jimmy. Cut him. Get rid of him. Trade him for a fucking 7th-round pick. The guy's awful. That team is terrible. Defense ain't good either, but Baker, not a good QB. And right behind him, as far as I'm concerned, you can trade Jared Goff for a bag of balls and ship Dan Campbell with him. Dan Campbell had nothing to do with that team. It was Ben Johnson. I think we've learned that. Look at the Bears. Look at the Lions. Dan Campbell rode Ben Johnson's tailcoats with that offense. Get rid of the guy. I thought he was great. He's a fucking fraud just like his quarterback. Get rid of both of them. They both suck. Your thoughts?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think we got to give it a little runway here. That's a very aggressive take. We got to remember that there's very few people that can do what people do at the top 10 level, the top 20 level, the top 30 level in the league. And you're talking about a couple people, not such a great finish this year, but you can't hate them. You just can't, in my opinion.
I say that I called it a couple weeks ago when Dan Campbell took over play calling duties. It was a telltale sign. Anytime the coach does that from an offensive coordinator means that there's problems, right? Like, and why do you have an offensive coordinator if you're going to take it? Like, the head coach's job is to oversee the whole operation and not to get that in the weeds. And if you have to do that, you should probably have somebody else doing that particular job. So I think that was problematic to begin with. I don't think Detroit's fraud. I think they tough year. I do think that Tampa is, because even when Tampa was making the playoffs, they were making the playoffs when New Orleans and Carolina and Atlanta were terrible, and they were going in a game or two over 500. So this is pretty much par for the course for Tampa. I agree with that. I do believe in Baker, but I don't believe him as a top tier guy. I think he's the middle of the road guy. It was the same conundrum Cleveland was in. I thought they got rid of him too early, but yeah,
But are you saying cut him?
I wouldn't cut him. There's not 32 people in the world good at this job.
That's what I meant. You don't cut clarify your position.
But he's losing close games, and I think you probably cut Todd Bowles because he's a defensive guy and their defense looks terrible, right? I think I don't
fire
know.
him.
I don't think you can excuse the way the defense is played. But for Detroit, I think maybe I think you could hold Dan Campbell accountable for putting the wrong person in that position. And if he wasn't the guy that should call the plays, not letting him go and taking
his defense is a bunch of heartless losers. They can't make a fucking tackle when it matters.
Yeah,
good players, and you know what? You can throw Hutch in that too. And I'm a Michigan guy, a top-notch player, and a guy who just has balls of steel makes a play and wins a game when it matters. They can't beat the Steelers as a 7-point favorite at home. Get out of here. You're terrible. You're a terrible team. And you know what? You had us all fooled for 2 years. And I got on the bandwagon like everybody last year and the year before. I wanted to see him do good. I'll admit it. Bad coach, bad quarter. I'd trade Jared Goff right now for a 7th-round pick. He fucking sucks.
I'm not going to go as far as Dre's going to go here.
He's not a winner. Either. Jimmy, he's not a winner. You need a winner in this league.
Hey, look, that's why they got
It's too hard to find, man.
Yeah, it's too hard to find. That's why they got rid of him in L.A., but they had a specific upgrade to Matthew Stafford, right? That's the deal. It's like the same Dak Prescott argument when everyone wants to get rid of him. Like, okay, is who's waiting in the wings, right? And that's the issue. But if you could get a Matt Stafford, especially a 33-year-old Matt Stafford, 32-year-old Matt Stafford, you get rid of Jared Goff in a heartbeat, or a Dak Prescott, right? You move on from him. That's always the question: is what is the alternative? And I think that's the position they're in. Same thing in Tampa. Like they're going to be in that same pressure spot. It does go.
I'll take this Malik Willis guy from Green Bay over fucking Jared Goff.
You know what's wild about Malik Willis? He looked like he was the biggest bust of all time in Tennessee. And then all he did was start that beginning of that season for Jordan Love, and he looked great, and he continues to play that way. I agree. Malik Willis, he just was started way too early in his career, and he deserves a chance to go somewhere and prove he's the guy. But I think all this just brings back the fact that how nuts the Steelers fans are every time they want to get rid of Mike Tomlin. He takes scrubs and somehow makes the playoffs every year. I know he doesn't get farther, but
Jimmy,
he does.
we talked about this before. We're not going to make that take anymore because we want Tomlin to wind up in Michigan.
Yeah, we do. I would love him to wind up in Michigan, but that's the truth. Like that's what like great coaches.
I think. Look, I hate to say, I think there's a chance the Bama coach winds up darting to Michigan.
So when he was getting his ass kicked in the first half of the game, I'm like, he's for sure darting to Michigan. But now do we want him? And now that he's made the comeback, I think it's going to be like real wishy-washy, because if you're an Alabama fan, how can you not like Caleb DeBoer now? I know you're probably not going to like it, but Nick Saban, everyone's Nick Saban comparisons. Nick Saban wasn't in the NIL era, wasn't in the crazy transfer portal era. It was a different world that Saban was in. I'm not saying he's not a better coach. Obviously he is, but he did coach in a different fucking world. Like, it's not the same environment that Caleb DeBoer's coaching. And he's managed the ups and downs. He managed the ass kicking by Florida State. He went in, had a great middle of the season. They fell off, and then he came back down 17-0 and came and beat Oklahoma. Like, tip your hat to the guy.
Yeah, I want him in Michigan. I think.
So do I.
Here's the thing. I think if I was him, I know this is going to be a hot take. I think the Michigan job's a better job than Alabama. For 100%. One reason only. It's easier to win with Michigan in the Big Ten than Alabama in the SEC.
And I would argue that Michigan fans are more forgiving than Alabama fans, right, over the course of time.
Well, yeah, you're not replacing a legend up at Michigan. I mean, Harbaugh's great, but he's not Saban. Let's get that straight.
No.
And I love Harbaugh, but he's not Saban.
Yeah. Nope. I concur. So I hope that happens. I hope he makes it happen.
All right, so look, it's 7:30 on a Sunday. We're watching the Detroit, see if they can come up with one stop and get a chance at a prayer of maybe tying this game and going to overtime. But before we get there, Ryan, what's the pulse right now as a Patriots fan as you're playing a huge game against the Ravens on the road coming up in 45 minutes?
I'm a little nervy, man. I'm a little nervy.
A little nervous.
A little nervy, yep.
Because you know what? I bring this up only because, Ryan, during the best of the best years of the Patriots, the one team that was always just a fucking thorn in your side was the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
It was.
It's a way. I don't know. I think this is one of those tests for a young team that's just starting to gel, and I hope they're successful. Godspeed. Let's get them.
I'll stick to my style. I think New England has a very bright future. I still think it's a year ahead of time. I think they make the playoffs. They get bounced in the first. Maybe they make the divisional round. I think Drake May is legit. I concede that. And I think they've got and obviously Vrabel's a great coach. I do think if they make the Super Bowl, I'll be happy for you. I don't think it's their year yet. I think they're still a year early.
Yeah, look, I always say in 2 weeks we're going to be doing this on the podcast, and we'll be able to break it down a lot better. You got to see the matchups before you start saying bounce here, bounce there. I think tonight is just a bad spot for the Patriots. The Ravens are a desperate, desperate team at home, and everyone's just waiting for Lamar to have that game, and I think tonight might be the night that he has the game. And it's not going to make the Patriots look bad in any way. They're still a great team, but I just think at home in Baltimore, I think this might be the night where Lamar has that game that he just hasn't had in months.
I'm on the opposite side of that coin. I think the Patriots are irritated that they lost last week after 21-0.
Yeah, but they're not going to come out. Ryan. They're not.
No, they're not. But that has nothing to do with it, right? Baltimore's got one great player. And he's dynamic. We've talked about it over and over.
Boswell misses the field goal. Detroit's alive.
Did Derrick Henry retire?
Okay, he's amazing, but Lamar is what matters.
Okay. Well, I mean, Derrick Henry's.
This season so far,
he's running right to Canton when he retires.
100%. No disrespect. He's amazing. I have his jersey in my living room right now.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Just had to throw that out there.
No.
All right, let's bounce around like we normally do. We always throw it to Jimmy so I can take a sip of my bourbon and stop listening. Is there anything in the UFC coming up in the next week or two before that big card we have to worry about, or is it just
Nope, that big card's the next one we're going to talk about. Nothing to see here.
This guy really missed a 37-yarder where the Lions can now win it on a touchdown, and I have to eat my words from
inside. Yep.
I have to eat my words from 15 minutes ago if they win this.
Yep.
All right, Jimmy, NBA stuff. Luka went down. Is he hurt? How long? I know you keep the pulse on this more than me. Is he out for a while? Is he going to be playing on Christmas? What happened? He's got a contusion, I heard, but is he out for a long time?
Yeah, contusions are funny because like typically with a contusion, you just have no idea how long it's going to last. I remember my pops got one when I was a kid, and I saw him basically cut his finger off with hedge trimmers, and he just put a splint on it, went back to work. He got a contusion one time playing softball, and he was down for like 2 days. He couldn't move. So it's really, really tough to tell, I think, with this type of injury, like how long he's going to be out for. Let me see if I can get the latest news on it just to kind of keep us up to speed. Yeah, I mean, none of the news I can see is really telling us how long he'll be out. But that's one of those things. The good news is it's not a long-lasting injury, so he'll be back sooner than later. But he could be out for a day, he could be out for a week. You just don't know with these injuries.
So do we expect him on Christmas, or?
I think he'll play on Christmas. I think 4 days from now, a contusion. I don't think it's going to keep him out of a big game like that.
Do you think? Yeah, you think Christmas motivates these players still?
I think it motivates someone like Luka because they know the audience is big, right? I do.
Not anymore.
I think they don't like playing on Christmas. I don't think anybody likes playing on the holiday, but I think the fact that all eyes are on them and they know it, I think helps. These guys all have egos, right? Like they do. Like and so I think that plays into it. But I think they're happy about the fact they do it.
I actually think they like playing on Christmas. I think these NBA players actually like it. I think the NFL players are more annoyed. I think the NBA players, it's more of a thing.
Could be. I mean, look, I know we're going to break down the Christmas games at some point, but I can't imagine that the Chiefs, who are now done, are excited to play on Christmas Day. Maybe if they were still in the race, they probably. Can you imagine you're out of the playoffs? This game doesn't matter at all, and you have to play.
That maybe to your point, yes, that's a thing. But
still again, $300,000 or something.
Yeah,
depending on your level.
Yeah, but still, the Cowboys and Commanders, everybody's out of it. I don't think they care, right?
Oh, sorry.
I think it depends. I think it depends on who you are, Jimmy, because there's some players out there in week 17, 18 who are playing for contracts. Playing for other teams to pick them up. That's why I love the NFL and I love the NHL because you never seem to get a bad effort ever.
There's very few times you notice it. You're right.
You see like later in the year in the NFL where they start talking about people making business decisions and they're not hustling, and you see missed tackles for it happens.
Those are superstars that are kind of locked in who can do that, but 90% of the team are not.
Yeah, no, you're probably not wrong, but it definitely happens when you see heartless efforts in the NFL once they're spent. Hey, give the Bengals credit. Even the beginning, even the Dolphins today at the beginning of the game, like that was a fun game to watch at the start, right?
Yeah,
like they're both out of it, and they were
on it.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, I didn't bet that game, and a lot of people. I would have bet the over. I gave that out on our show, but a lot of people like the Dolphins thought the Bengals would mail it in, and they did not at all.
Nope.
No, so I got them.
Yeah,
I actually believe that was Gabby. I think after Joe Burrow's like depressing comments last time, I figured he'd come out firing to prove that was just like, hey, I was pissed off after a game kind of thing, something to prove. I think Chase had 5 catches in the first quarter or something. Like T. Higgins had an insane catch down the sideline. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that Chase couldn't get in the end zone. I don't know what that was today.
It is.
They love throwing to Higgins. 3rd and 13 for the Lions. 3rd in the season, basically. All right, it'll be 4th in the season in a minute. I don't know why you would throw that ball not to the sticks, but that's Jared Goff, terrible player. All right. Draymond was ejected again, Jimmy. Is this just getting old? Do you think he just does it because he has to bring because that's his brand, or like it's getting old? No one cares. I mean,
I don't think so. I think he genuinely has probably like a I don't know what to say, anger management problem, but he has the inability to keep his emotions in check at certain times. Because Draymond, when he's doing his podcast, it's fantastic. When he's after he's out of the season, when he's on the post game show or the NBA countdown show, like he's great. Like he's fantastic. Like he's really, his insights are great. He's level set. He's level headed. It's like something about. I mean, we all knew somebody like that just got set off and snapped. I mean, I can be that guy sometimes. Right?
All day long.
I was too in high school. not
Right.
as a mid-30s guy making millions in the NBA. And
Yeah.
you beat me to my point. That's kind of the thing. It's like, is it a brand thing where he's like, you know what, maybe I should get tossed this game because it's my thing? Because you're right. He's fantastic as an analyst.
No, I think he genuinely gets emotionally wrapped up in the moment and snaps. Like, I think it happens. It happens to me. It happens to you on the show, Greg, all the time.
It happened to me in high school as a basketball player. I was a decent basketball player, and you know what? I led the league in tees.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, like I do think like the heat of the moment. Sometimes you do shit that you like, like afterwards, you're like, have like, right? It's happened to me a lot of times in my life. So
I got tossed from one game, and I will contest to this day that ref still made the wrong call. I was on a breakaway. I got literally undercut, landed on my head. And I obviously reacted because the kid took my legs out on purpose, and I got tossed.
would you flip out on him?
Hell, I might have thrown the ball as hard as I could at his head and hit him directly in the face.
Oh, sounds like he deserved it.
I think I should have.
And that's the game.
You're ahead of me. So
no, bunch of flags from everywhere. Flags.
All right,
days.
No more talking. I'm gonna play behind you. No more.
Finally, I'm not behind 3 plays. Ryan, good news, is still behind 7 plays.
Yeah. No more.
I was ahead of you before.
All right.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I kind of like we got a lot of email and questions on our between the shorts and the email and everything. So I kind of weaved them in. So one question was this, and then I'll give my answer after about the Celtics. So let me ask it this way. Jimmy, if you could right now, who would you pick up in the NBA for the Knicks? Who is your missing piece? Who is your Christmas wish list right now if you could have anybody? Anybody.
Is this like anybody, like pie in the sky?
Anyone in the league, you could just put him on the Knicks right now and try to win an NBA championship. Who would it be?
This probably sounds crazy, and I know it's a superstar that's not going anywhere, and he's old. But Steph Curry, like they get to the hole, Jalen Brunson get the hole all day long. You got Cat. If they had a knockdown, dead to nuts 3-point shooter outside that couldn't miss, it'd be over. It'd be curtains. They don't need more big. They got Mitchell Robinson. They've got Cat. They've got the Mikal Bridges and Josh Harts they can do a little bit of everything. The mid-sized player, like they need another small point guard to go along with Jalen Brunson and one who's a sharpshooter. Give me Steph Curry. It's all over.
Hey, you know, that's not a bad call, and that's kind of like what the framework of this was, because it had to be a piece that you're missing, right? Because if you said, give me the greatest point guard ever, well, you got Brunson, so they're not going to work well together, right? Steph Curry, if you said to Steph, hey, Steph, look, you're 500 years old, you're going to be the 2 guard, I think, and you're just going to shoot threes, I think that would be, that's not a bad call.
And he kind of plays as a 2 guard anyway. Like, he's the guy that's always moving, running the baseline, coming off of screens. Like, he's not the guy that brings the ball up the floor most of the time. So,
you know, it's kind of funny. It's like he's the 2 guard until they don't want him to be, and then they're like, bring it up, Steph, do it all.
Yeah, right.
So, for me, for the Celtics, to give my answer, it's simple. It's like it's not even debatable. It's SGA. Just put SGA on the Celtics, they win the championship. It's not even close, especially if Tatum's there.
Yeah, I mean that's
they can't afford that, right? The money breaks that, even if it were to happen.
No. The question
is a dream conversation.
Like, if you could make your own Christmas present for your NBA team, who would you get?
Yeah,
I understand. I wanted to understand the level of realism. I got the question.
But it could be like you could make that work as the Celtics. You could get rid of a bunch of pieces because
he makes up for it.
Cap space.
Yeah.
But OKC's never getting rid of SGA. But if you put SGA on the Celtics with Brown and Tatum, good night. That's a big 3. That would be a nightmare.
Tough,
yeah. I mean, there's only a handful of players that you could say that for. You could say that maybe like for Luka. You could say Giannis. You could argue it. Obviously, Jokic. Like there's a handful of. Here comes Detroit. There's a handful of players that you could say like, hey, this is the guy. Give us that guy, and it would be curtains. We'd make it happen.
All right, division winners right now, Jimmy. Pistons are minus 1,400. Cavs plus 750. Who would you take to win the division?
Cavs. I'm not giving 1,400 this early in the year. It's just too early. Injuries, everything. I don't think the Cavs are going to win it, but from a value standpoint, there's no value there.
I agree. Southwest, Rockets -170, Spurs plus 135.
Spurs are legit. Even without Wemby, they're legit. I take the Spurs.
I agree. I don't hate that plus 135. Magic -120, Hawks plus 250, Heat plus 320.
I would either go Magic or Heat. I'd bypass the Hawks altogether, but I think the Magic, barring an injury, are going to get it done. They're starting to come together well, starting to win some games after a tough start, figuring out how to play with Desmond Bain. Magic are going to win that division.
The NBA Atlantic, our division, Jimmy. Knicks -240, Celts plus 340.
Knicks are going to win.
Do you like the value? You'd lay -240. Like right now, if I said, dude, we got 25,000 in the account. You want to put it on the Knicks to win 10,000? You'd do it.
I think, I just don't see. Well, there you go. There's the Lions. 22 seconds. I think that. Yeah, sorry. I think that the Knicks are, again, and I think the injury bug's not going to plague them this year as much as it did because they're actually going like Tyler Kolek. Like it was a rookie last year. You didn't know his name. And now he's playing under Mike Brown, right? That's the one knock that was on. That was the one knock that was on Tibbs. Even though I love Tibbs, they had more players than you knew they had because he didn't play any of them. He didn't develop anybody, right? He just played the vets. So I think the Knicks are pretty legit this year, and I think they're going to win that division for sure. If Tatum was there, that'd be an insane statement, right? But he's not. So
all right, Lakers Warriors. I mean, Lakers are -550. I just don't trust this Lakers team ever, but I get it. They have a big lead. They have the better team.
I would avoid this like the plague because they're one injury away from, and you never know when Golden State's going to go on a run. I would avoid it.
Yeah.
Way too much delay.
Let's see. And then the final one, because I just wanted to hear your thoughts because I know how much you love the Nuggets. OKC is just a ridiculous favorite, -3,000. Nuggets 15-1.
I would avoid, but I would take the Nuggets as a value play before I took OKC. That's an insane number with all the things that can go wrong over the course of a season. And by the way, I said this last show, but we are getting robbed as fans if they don't end up 1-2 because they need to be in the Western Conference Finals. The only argument you can make would be for the Spurs. Like that, okay, the Spurs, and right now Spurs, Denver, both 4.5 games back. OKC lost another game the other night. Minnesota got them. And if you look at the West, you've got the top 6 teams that are all playing good basketball. And if you look down the board, Memphis is actually starting to come alive a little bit. So, I think that being 4.5 games back and laying that kind of, that's insane to me.
Did you say the big fella's hurt on the Spurs?
No, he's not, but he's on a minute restriction.
All right.
Yeah, in the tournament he's on a minute restriction because he's coming back from it. I mean, you never know when something's going to happen to him, right? Human beings aren't supposed to be 7'5" and like that kind of shape. Like it just your body doesn't work the same as everybody else's does. Going through this kind of rigorous workout, so I wouldn't trust it.
All right, fair enough. All right, so that's our kind of NBA update for now. I got one take here on the NHL, and that is, Jimmy, we kind of talked about it, and I'm going to pull it up in live time from after last night's game. We kind of talked about it at nauseum during the playoffs, and it's about the Oilers, and they're 17-13-6. So I mean, they're not like obviously a train wreck, but they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, and half the reason is this fucking goaltending is just. I mean, how does Calvin Pickard still have a job, Jimmy?
Yeah, at some point you've got to find the best player you got to find the best player in the league, a generational talent, a goaltender.
His goals against is almost 4 a game. This guy is fucking awful. And you have an offense still that is, I mean, just dynamic. And the problem is you have to win every game 7-6 with this guy in net. He's a fucking sieve.
It's unbelievable. I don't know who they drafted last year, but how you don't just throw everything at finding a goaltender is beyond me.
All right, I'm play behind Jimmy. Lions 3rd in the season, and in 18, whoever he is, Tesla can't hold on to the ball, and it's going to be 4th in the season. Jimmy, don't spoil it for me and Ryan.
I'm not going to.
Unbelievable. Again,
I'm gonna,
I'll stick to my fraud comment.
yeah, I'm gonna go grab a beer while you guys talk out the next topic. I'll be back in 2.
Ryan, do you follow the NHL like in season or not as much? Not as much.
Not as much. Are you talking?
Yeah, he's not. He's.
Oh, how about now?
Okay.
That's nice. I said not that much.
We
I
got.
listen to you guys. I enjoy that. I get into it a little bit, especially in the playoffs, but not too much before that. Not much time.
Okay. That's kind of my only take there. I kind of gave my take last week about how good the Avs are. But yeah, that's kind of where I am. The Oilers just no good with the goaltending, and the Avs are just dynamic. We got a penalty here to end this game. I think it's going to be Steelers win, the Steelers win. But hold on, let's see what happens here, Ryan.
Maybe.
We're behind Jimmy. Jimmy's looking. He knows what already happened. I'm pretty sure it's Steelers victory because Goff looks pretty pissed on my screen. Let's see. Hold on. Ryan, I don't know if he's behind. I think he is.
I'm just reading Jimmy's face.
Jimmy knows it's over.
My wife's yelling at me.
All right. I don't want to edit her. Tell her to go back upstairs. They're really having a conference here, everybody. Sorry for the dead air. We don't mean it. But no one knows what's going on. Jared Goff's talking to the official now. The official's telling Jared Goff to fuck off. Jared Goff's like, I know, like I'm not even worth a 7-round pick right now. Please let me get one more play. Fans are putting their arms up in the air. Season's over, buddy. And you're not a very attractive man. He was.
Was it on the Lions? What was the
I don't
penalty?
know. Wait, again, I'm way behind you, Jimmy. Tomlin just congratulated Rodgers, so I think the game's over. There's like 19 officials. I don't even know where they all came from, but there's a bunch of stripes huddled around. They don't know what to do. Roger Goodell's calling in because this league's so corrupt. So he's like, hey, I don't know what we should do here, boys. Maybe just, he's in the headset. He's like, I don't know what we should do. Make the Lions win. I don't know. It's Aaron Rodgers. It could be a good story.
Yep.
Tomlin's on the field. Yeah, no one knows.
Who's got money on what?
No one knows what's going on. The line judge is trying to hold people back. There's people crying in the Lions stands, so I think they lost, but I'm not sure. Jimmy, don't say anything yet. The ref's about.
You can't know all this. You can't be 5 minutes ahead.
I know all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready.
Handshakes are happening.
Interference on the offense. Penalty's going to be declined. The ball game's over.
Baba Booey.
Yep.
Yeah. Amon-Ra bumped him. He goes down. He bumps him, and then it pushes off.
I want to see. I kind of want to see it on the replay here because the way these games have been called, which I have written down for later, as everybody knows how I feel about the NFL officiating. I'm sure it's a terrible call as usual in this league.
It wouldn't have been a touchdown. It wouldn't have been a touchdown anyway.
Why? He lateraled it back to Goff, who got in the end zone.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
All right, let's see. Are you kidding? That is an awful call. He didn't even extend the arms. That is an awful call. Awful. The refs in this league, I swear to God, every pre-game meeting must be, hey, everybody, huddle up. Let's decide the game. How are we going to do it this time? I mean, this is ridiculous. It's unbelievable. I can't. It's literally, you know how I feel about the NBA, Jimmy. We've had that argument many times between the NBA and the NHL. The NFL's actually becoming my second most hated sport because the way the games are decided. I would rather watch NHL hockey all day. I'd rather be tied to a chair to watch NHL hockey the rest of my life than watch one more NFL game ever. It's the second worst sport in America because of the referees.
Sounds like hyperbole.
What a terrible league. Just terrible league. I can't believe
it. Does make, Ryan, it makes this game tonight way more important for the Ravens.
Why? Because of the Steelers. Oh, because the Steelers won, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Just awful. Awful. What an awful call. All right, we'll get more to the fucking not for long league later. I just can't believe another game was decided on a terrible call. But I apologize, Detroit. You are frauds, but that was touchdown Lions. All right. Another week goes by. Jimmy, another no signings by the Mets and Red Sox as players go here, players go there. I don't even know what to say anymore. I've screamed on this show a few times. I don't know what to say. Turn your TV off. You're looking the wrong way. Look at me. I mean, are you as annoyed as a Mets fan as I am as a Red Sox fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, maybe they have something up their sleeve. Probably not.
How can you have something up your sleeve if all the players are gone?
I don't know. After Alonso didn't sign, went to Maryland, I was zapped of my excitement.
Did you say he went to Maryland? That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He did go to Maryland.
He did go to Maryland. He said, I want soft shell crabs, blue crabs, all the crabs, the cakes.
And all signs are like kind of pointing that Bichette might just re-sign with the Jays, Ryan.
I mean, they had a good performance last year. Who knows what the, ownership treats them like and all that stuff, I know they upgraded that stadium last year or the year before, I think. Who knows what that means? It might be a great place to play.
So you're right now, you're feeling good that he might be a Jay again?
I could give a shit, really, but it'd be fun to have them be good again. Yeah, sure.
I mean, you don't care? I mean, you were fucking screaming like a 13-year-old girl on this show while the Jays are playing in the World Series.
That was a lot of fun to watch the team, but I don't go with the day-to-day stuff. I don't get into the weeds.
He's your best player. It would be like losing Brady.
Vlad was pretty good.
I mean, Vlad's great, but Bichette's your best all-around player.
Okay. Well,
he did say he was willing to play second base. We said that earlier on the show.
He did. He's a good dude.
See what happens.
He's just willing to do what the team needs, Ryan. Willing to do what the team needs.
I appreciate him.
Who doesn't? All right. We got a comment here in an MLB question, which I'll address. I knew it was coming. Before we go down that rabbit hole yet again, Jimmy, I watched the first episode of the A-Rod doc. You're right. It's making me kind of like him, which the Jeter doc did the exact same thing. I hated Jeter because he was a Yankee, hated A-Rod, but after watching Jeter's thing, I was like, fuck, I like Jeter. And then I'm starting to like A-Rod now.
It's tough not to like him. He's pretty honest.
He's very honest. The opening 2 minutes, he addressed the steroids thing.
Yeah, straight up.
Good for him.
No, it's very good.
And that's kind of the segue into the comment I got. Someone wrote us, Jimmy, and said, I watched this. I know you posted it a while ago, but I completely agree with your take on the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. But besides Clemens, there's a couple people you guys didn't address. And he brought up McGuire. He brought up Bond. Well, we talked about Bonds, but he brought up McGuire. He brought up A-Rod, which is why I brought up the A-Rod documentary. He brought up Schilling. Again, I get what you're saying, and I'll address them all. But for me, the biggest joke out there is still Roger Clemens with his 11 All-Stars, his MVPs, his Cy Youngs. Clemens' career was absolutely insanity that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And Bonds isn't, to Jimmy's point, with 762 home runs, Bonds isn't too far behind. I mean, the guy drove in almost, 2,000, got 2,000 RBIs almost. He's got 2,500 hits. You're right. McGuire, I completely agree with. Big Mac is a joke that he's not in there. In 1998, everyone was cashing checks in the MLB front office, and no one cared at all.
Nobody gave a shit.
We're doing steroids.
Bash Brothers.
Ratings were awesome. They were hitting 500-foot homers. Everyone was fucking fat and happy, and all of a sudden it's a problem now. So I agree with you. Big Mac not being in there as a 12-time All-Star is an absolute joke. And you're right. Looking at A-Rod, when this person wrote this email in, you're absolutely right. Looking at A-Rod's career, longevity, and the statistics he put up, the fact that A-Rod is not in the Hall of Fame, you're absolutely right. It's an absolute joke.
Here's the thing with A-Rod, too. And this is not a documentary. This is, I remember, lifetime. He was an outstanding shortstop.
He was, and he was a twig. He wasn't on PEDs.
No, yeah. And then when he moved to third because he wasn't going to take over shortstop for Jeter, and he was a great third. He was a great defensive player.
He was a great defense, but he was a power hitter before any PEDs were put into his body in Texas. And what did he get? What does a steroid do? Add what, Jimmy? 20?
Yeah, look, he was a great player no matter what. He would have been in the Hall of Fame had he never done steroids. As a defensive player, he would have had a great average. He would have still had a bunch of RBIs. The home runs are, if you want to attribute to steroids, fine. But he was a great player.
As a rookie, he was crushing balls.
Yeah.
How did that Seattle team not win a World Series? I mean, is that the greatest lineup to never win a World Series? Can you think of a better one?
I can't remember who else was on that lineup, to be transparent.
Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner. Ichiro wasn't there yet.
Oh, no?
Really?
No.
He's pretty old now, no?
Yeah, Ichiro came way later in life.
Okay.
I would have guessed he was.
Well, you would have guessed wrong. Randy Johnson. That was a squad. You gotta remember, A-Rod was a Ranger in what, 2001, 2000?
Yeah, something like that for what, $250 million, and that was
you're
exactly right. He got 250, and it was like mind blowing that he got 250.
Yep, and then he went to the Yankees and got even more when it was all said and done. But yeah, that's the take. You're 100% right. A-Rod, McGuire, Clemens, Bond, they should all be in. The Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, like we've said on this show many times, is an absolute joke. It's not
Schilling too, man. Schilling had 10 years of very dominant baseball.
Schilling.
So it's a Hall of Fame.
He became a nutbag after his career, and that's why they're out.
Regardless, it's a Hall of Fame, and
I agree.
And you got to take the whole body of work, Jimmy, right?
Yep.
So Schilling is a Hall of Famer based on his postseason performance alone.
Yeah, that bloody sock thing was stupid.
He could be
Arizona stuff was crazy.
Don't forget just the Red Sox, Arizona, and the Phillies. He's the greatest. He could be the greatest postseason pitcher ever.
Yeah,
he's
that good.
And he didn't throw the hardest. He didn't have the most spin. He wasn't the most level-headed. He just got it done.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to put it. He just got it done. All right. Anything else on baseball before we move on, Jimmy?
Nope.
Yeah, I figured. Ryan, nothing, right? No.
Off season, man.
Off season. All right. There is no off season. It's a hot stove right now.
Well, there's a good ping pong game going on. I looked that one up.
Fantastic.
Plus 345 on Kim.
College basketball. Big day yesterday. Did you watch any of the St. John's game, Jimmy, as we took you down?
I did not.
All right. Well, you had a lead.
I was watching college football most of the day.
You had a nice lead. It was good. And then Kentucky had a nice comeback in the second half and put the hammer down. And Patino's return to play Kentucky, not like it was in Rupp Arena, did not go according to plan. So Kentucky gets a big win. Maybe this gets Kentucky back on track, and that's what I'm hoping, because you can hear the rumblings of, hey, maybe it's time to, Mark Pope, maybe he's not the right guy, but I think Pope will have this team playing hard. I think this will turn that around, and I think we'll be ready to go come tournament time.
Yeah, I hope so. It's more fun when Kentucky's good.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. It is more fun when they're good. Arkansas just got completely outclassed by Houston. I think we both liked Arkansas with the points, but Houston just outclassed them. Purdue pounded Auburn, kind of like I was saying, Jimmy. You thought maybe Auburn could do it. The line didn't get over 10, but we thought Tech was live, and God, they fell down 17 to Duke. Came back and got them.
Wow. They were. I did watch the beginning of that game. They were up by 10 to kick it off, and then Duke came rushing back.
Yep.
But good for Tech pulling it out. I will tell you that, not to jump back, but I was looking at Auburn's schedule earlier today. They've had a tough go. Like they lost, but they've played some they've had a very good strength of schedule so far.
All right, Jimmy, who gets in the end zone tonight for the Ravens? Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely.
I mean, I'm going to go Andrews every time.
Does Henry definitely score? Ryan, how's your rush defense?
I don't know the stats. It seems strong when I watch.
All right.
I mean,
Jimmy says Andrews definitely scores. I have a boost. I can get Andrews plus 200. I'm going to put the max on him. So let's go. Mark Andrews touchdown. Jimmy Verga special. Let's see if we can make up some of that Lions money. We're all mad at Jimmy because he said the Lions no chance they were going to lose, but they lost for us, so it happened.
I did also take Steelers plus 7.
I know you said Steelers, but it was a good call by you.
Yeah.
I'd like credit for the Jags.
I went Lions.
That's all. I did tell you the Jags were live plus 3.5.
I think I avoided that.
Arizona,
Yeah,
Jimmy just pounded San Diego State. Competitive first half, and then it was all over but the shouting.
Yeah, Arizona's a legit number 1. Michigan's coming though. Michigan's right there.
Yeah, right now, Zona. I have that on my questions for you. Zona, Michigan. We talked about it a little bit on the last podcast. Are these paper tigers or are these legit teams that we should expect to go to the Final Four?
I think the legit teams. I mean, Michigan played LaSalle, who is they should pound, but they did. They beat them by 52. Right, so that's a sign to me of a good team. They beat down the teams they should beat down. Right, they don't let them in the game. All Michigan's done is beat everybody by a lot of points every game. Right,
Okay.
They had a close game versus Maryland. They pulled it out, still won by 18. I don't believe they're paper tigers. I think these are really good teams. And if you look at the Michigan box score from today, no one person really stands out. They all contributed. They just have a good roster across the board.
Yeah, I love Michigan. I just hate the odds on them. Plus 475 to win it all. You just can't take. Plus 120. Plus 120 to make the Final Four. I'd rather just see the bracket because I think we might get better odds.
Why is it so high so early? Or so good so early, I should say. So bad, I should say. Sorry.
I mean, right now, I know it's going to sound like a homer pick, but honestly, if I was making a play to make the Final Four, I love Kentucky 7.5 to 1. If they round into form, I mean, this was a preseason top 10 team. If they round into form, you can get 7.5 to 1 right now. Love it.
Tournament's just so tough. That's why I say wait till the tournament. It's tough to take any of these odds now, this early in the season.
7.5 to 1. It's pretty good, Jimmy.
Yeah, to make the Final Four.
Yeah, to make the Final Four, not win the whole thing.
I know. I'm just saying, like you get bounced in the Sweet 16 so easily.
That's why they're 7.5 to 1.
I know. That's why I don't love it.
Odds on. And I don't hate Texas Tech after what I saw at 13 to 1 to make the Final Four.
That I find better.
Yeah, me too. 13 to
1.
Like
that's more of a bargainy type thing, you know.
I'm trying to go down the board a little bit. Let's see if I could take a huge flyer. I don't love anyone down here too much. I don't hate because I brought it up before. I don't hate Wisconsin 25 to 1.
What's Michigan State right now?
Michigan State to make the Final Four is. I got to be near the top. Why am I missing? 4.5 to 1.
Yeah, that's no.
No, yeah, not enough juice. Not enough juice there.
No.
Will Arizona finish the regular season undefeated, Jimmy? 41.
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
Can you take the under?
There is there's no available.
Yeah, that's what we talked about the other day. It's not the pass line. What's the opposite? What's it called?
Oh, that's the don't pass. And
yeah.
By the way, I take here for Vegas trip coming up. Ryan, book your ticket soon. I'll let you know where we're staying. The don't pass is my favorite thing now that they have the dynamic craps, so nobody really knows what you're betting. Me and Jimmy were doing that last year because when you bet it on a live craps table where everyone sees you putting the chips down, everyone gets mad at you. But with dynamic craps, you have your own screen. No one knows what's going on. You play the don't.
You're just betting that these assholes are going to crap out.
Fucking 7 comes out. You're like, oh, man, that sucks. But really, you're just cashing checks.
That's fucking hilarious.
I fucking love it. All right. College football, before we get into the games this weekend that happened, Danbury Dave, one of our best listeners, loyal listener Ryan, wrote in. He's 100% right. We touched on the Heisman, but we didn't really go into depth. And his take is really good. He basically said, you guys barely touched on the atrocity of the Heisman this year with Mendoza winning. He's the single worst statistical QB in recent memory with 39 TDs and only 3,200 total yards. Where, you have Jaden, Caleb, Baker, Kyler, Bryce, Mariota since 2014, and the worst season out of all of those was 47 TDs and 4,500 total yards. So, Dave, I get what you're saying, and I hear you, and I agree with you. It wasn't the greatest season of all time, but I don't think anyone had a dynamic season, and he was the best player on the best team, and I think that's why he got the nod. You agree, Jimmy?
I agree completely. Yeah. What was he, this world beater of a sure thing? No, absolutely not. But if you look at the statistics, nobody really outperformed him, and he was on the best team. It would be hard for you to make an argument that this guy had numbers that were so much better that we can't avoid it. He had a solid completion percentage. He had his touchdown interception ratio was good. Enough rushing, there was no. I don't think there was any shoe in. So if it was as well, I can see you saying somebody else should have got. Okay, fair. But there was nobody that blew the top off this year. So what are you gonna do, right? He number one team, undefeated. He's the leader of the team. Won the games how he needed to win them, and there was nobody that stood out. There was no.
He went head to head with Ohio State and the Ohio State quarterback, and he completely outperformed them.
Yeah, he beat Julian Sand in the head-to-head game. But yeah, I don't. I mean, he had look. Pavia, Mendoza, and Julian Sand. Sand had about 400 yards more than Mendoza did, but he also had 4 less touchdowns and the same interceptions.
Right.
He had a slightly better completion percentage. Diego Pavia had 300 yards more, but he had 6 less touchdowns, 2 more interceptions, and he was 500 points behind him in completion percentage. They were all so close. Take the guy that's on the best team, move on. So I don't think that there's some big travesty that happened here that he won it, right? You want to argue for your guy, sure, but nobody has a strong argument here.
Yeah, I kind of counter back, and I know he's going to listen, obviously, because he listens to every show. But Danbury Dave, write us back. Who would you have voted for? Because I'm curious. Because by default, I probably would have voted for the kid from Indiana. I don't think I would have voted for Pavia.
I agree. And Jeremiah Love did win the whatever they call the trophy for the best running back, but he had
the Jimmy Virgo Award. But go ahead.
He had 1,300 and change. He didn't rush for 2,000 yards. He didn't have. Yeah, he didn't. He didn't. Set some record. He had a very good season as a college running back.
Well, to your point, Greg, who else really stood out this year? You can think of Doug Flutie and Reggie Bush and
there was no Travis
Cam
Hunter.
Newton. There were these guys that were just, you knew them no matter how much you watched. And I'm certainly a casual. Go ahead.
Look, I love the Doug Flutie reference, but let's get one thing straight. I was 2 years old when it happened, but 3 years old, whatever it was. But he won the Heisman because he threw a Hail Mary against Notre Dame.
That's my point.
It was Miami, sorry.
It was Miami, I think, for Boston College. But that's my point.
He played for Boston College, yeah.
That's what I mean I think it was Miami. Anyway, point is, there was no one else like that, right?
Look that up, Jimmy. Was Doug Flutie's Hail Mary against Miami or ND? It was one of the two.
I don't know. But regardless, there was no one, there was no name out there, like you guys said. Why not pick the best player on the best team?
On the best team, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's roll with it, move on with life.
As Jimmy's looking that up, we'll kind of go through the playoff games.
Hurricanes. It was against the Hurricanes.
There we go. I was at the Keg on the corner of Sisson Avenue and the highway right there, eating pizza. It was the greatest fucking throw I ever saw in my life, in a tiny little 24-inch screen.
Yeah, I was going to say you were 8.
Yeah, it was in the top corner of the bar.
1984, yeah.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers was there, Pac-Man. Yep.
Oh, fantastic. When you say Super Mario's, you mean the game where you kind of jumped over. It wasn't actual Mario Brothers. It was it was the Donkey Kong game, right, with Mario?
No, there was the Mario Through the Worlds at that one. That was there too, though, and Pac-Man. It was. It's 1984, 85, whatever it was.
Jimmy looked that up too. All right.
It's real
Here's
good.
my-
Thick Mott's. My fourth grade teacher eventually worked there as a bartender.
My take on these playoff games, and I'll start with the one on Friday night. I'm still in shock that Oklahoma got out to a 17-0 lead and just shit the bed like I've never seen a team shit the bed before. A healthy Mateer, Jimmy, I know you like the guy. He makes no difference. He's an overrated quarterback. You win
No.
if you're a good quarterback, you win that game.
Yeah, they should have won that game. There's no excuses. Like I said, I thought Caleb DeBoer would have his tail between his legs, and now Michigan doesn't want him either, and now he's just out of a job. They come back, they win the game, unbelievable. But yeah, we had a small get together because we had a Santa Claus situation on Friday night for the kids, and I said, "This is where you take Alabama, 17-0, take them. Just like throw a couple bucks on the money line." And wish
Smart.
I did it. It's my own
Very
advice.
smart.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I concur. Like I think Alabama's cooked the next round, but
We'll get to that later. We move on to the Saturday games, and my take here is pretty simple. We'll get to the Miami game last, but as far as this top 5 ranked conference champions, I think this will be going away next year after what we saw on Saturday, because this can never happen again.
yeah, Tulane had no business being there. I went 2-1. I did take the Mean Green, and I lost.
You're going to be very happy with me. I went 3-0, and it was because I cashed out, and I only gave away $4, and it was a pretty big bet to James Madison when Oregon was way up, because I had a feeling that they could get it back under 20.5, because I laid 20.5.
That's what I took, the 20.5 with James Madison, and I cashed that ticket.
Which you had no business cashing, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't.
They could have won by 70, but go ahead.
I know, but I cashed that ticket. I took Miami the money line.
I had Miami too.
Yeah, I had the money line at plus 120 and cashed it, and I lost on Tulane. I said Tulane and James Madison, one of these pricks have to keep it within 21 points, and I was right. One of them did.
The Ducks is one of my best cash outs I've ever made. You know me, I'm not a big cash out guy, but I just said, you know what? They're gonna stop caring when it was 34-6.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? They're gonna stop caring. And literally Fanatics was offering me my whole bet back minus $3. And I said, you know what? For the $3, keep it just in case.
Yeah.
Great. It was one of my better cash outs of my
smart
career.
move.
I told you Ole Miss was gonna pound this team. They came out completely ready to prove a point after the Lane Kiffin thing. And then, look, I can't wait to hear. Well, first, let me hear both of your thoughts on it. You can't do the top 5 ranked conference champions anymore, because you can't let 2 of these teams in anymore. You let 1 in. I think you should always let 1 Cinderella in. Let's see what happens. But you can't let 2 of them in anymore. And the people who screamed about it were 100% right.
The problem is, like, it's just like they didn't let the ACC champ in. They choose which one you want to let in.
The ACC champ was Miami, but go ahead.
But I thought Duke won the ACC champ.
Right, but who was the best team in the ACC?
For sure, but technically the champ was Duke, right?
But the best team in the ACC is still in the playoffs, and they proved.
But because they had to let the champions in, they let Tulane and JMU.
That's why the rules got to go away.
Right, and that's the problem. So because they let Miami in instead of Duke, and Ohio State wasn't.
Well, Duke was never getting in. They let basically Jimmy.
Of course they weren't, but that's the problem, right? So Indiana won the Big Ten, and clearly Ohio State was getting in. So Ohio State doesn't count as a champion because they weren't.
Right.
And so when you start going down the board, you're like, okay, well in the ACC, it's not going to be fucking Duke, right? So you let Miami in, and because you have to guarantee 5 spots, now you go to Tulane and JMU.
The rule is going to change. What I think is going to happen, and it could happen next year, is we're going to get 16 teams, and you're not going to have this top 5 champion thing anymore. Quite honestly, I think you should just do away with 16. It should be a 16-team playoff. If you want to make it a 24-team playoff, I'd even sign up for that. Get rid of the conference championship games. They mean nothing anymore. There's no point in having them. Start the playoffs the week of the conference championship games, and let's go. Because the conference championship games mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because there's even the debate on, do we count it against them if they lose it?
Exactly. We don't need to have a conference championship game. Just the regular season champ is the champ. Forget it. No more conference championship games. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's have more playoff games. quite honestly, Jimmy, I don't care if we go to 32 teams. Get rid of the whole bowl system. Have 2 playoffs. Have the whatever you want to call it, and then the secondary tournament. And have 2 tournaments, just like the NCAA and the NIT back in the day.
I agree.
Making way too much sense.
You don't need all these. And you can still
It's never
play
gonna
in all
happen.
these. Like, Ryan, we can still go out to the Honolulu Bowl and play a playoff game.
I
You
know.
can still play at all these sites, but make it a tournament. No, we don't need this non-competitive bullshit anymore. We just don't. All right.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the Miami game. I can't wait to hear what you thought about this. I thought it was a classic and one of the greatest games I ever watched. And it was only 10-3.
Look, I thought it was a great game. I was watching the beginning of the game, and it's funny because I was at halftime with Cristobal's speech. I'm like, I'm right on the money. Like, there was a play. Miami was making progress, and then they tried to get too cute. That play when he handed the ball to Tony, and he threw the ball downfield. Now, credit to fucking Tony. Like, it was an incomplete pass, but it was a great throw. It was a professional throw. But there was no fake to it, and they were moving the ball. And so and then they did the same shit. The next drive, Carson Beck goes downfield. Now, he had a guy wide open and he missed him, so that's on him. But my point is, they were moving the ball methodically, and on second down, they go through these big plays. And they were in 3rd and long the whole first half. And they kept turning and there's nothing you could do. They kept turning the ball over. And the wind in A&M and Kyle Field was swirling. That first miss by Miami, the ball was going towards the left upright and moved to the right upright and out. It moved all the way from the left upright to the right upright and then missed in flight. So that was my problem with Miami. I'm like, they're trying to out-cute themselves. They're trying to be too creative. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. And then Cristobal said that at halftime. And then they tried to do it in the second half, and it didn't work either. They just kept getting stuffed. And then there was that play by Tony with the punt return where he tripped over his own feet. In the replay, he didn't actually get touched. He just kicked his own heel and fell. I thought it was a fantastic game, though. A&M was in it.
I thought it was a great game. Look, it was a defensive struggle, but it was an instant class. Did you see any of it, Ryan?
No, sir.
Thank you for participation.
No.
We have you on a sports podcast once or twice a week. You should probably watch a big game like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was middle of the day.
It's middle of the day, and it was 2 huge powerhouses. What happened?
Sorry.
The only game you had.
I had a nephew playing 2 games of hockey. I had Jake scoring 2 goals in soccer. I had a lot going on, man.
How's he doing in soccer?
Great. Amazing. Yep.
Good.
Look, we won't give Ryan's last name out, but the family tree, Ryan's produced a bunch of good athletes.
Somewhere or other.
Absolutely stars out there. Yeah, we'll get in the next show. Everyone tune into our Christmas show, which we'll post on Tuesday night. Please, we'll get into what we think will happen, look ahead lines in the college football playoff. But I thought, Jimmy, that Miami game was an absolute classic. And I don't think just because they scored 10 points, they're absolutely dead in the next round. I think they're a live dog against Ohio State.
I think they are, too. I think they absolutely are. I think Carson Beck didn't play his best game. I was watching the game. I'm like, maybe Carson Beck isn't a pro quarterback because he was missing throws he should have hit. But I don't know how much the wind there was nuts. I don't know how much it had.
The wind was out of control, yeah. And I'll tell you what, the player was that running back was just phenomenal. Not
giving up 3 points in a championship type game, like that's always a positive.
But
you know,
I'll tell you, we were on Miami because A&M was leaking oil if anybody was. Like I said, they had to come back for South Carolina. Then they went and played a cupcake. Then they came back and had a tough game. I don't know. You know, I just thought A&M was on the road.
Fletcher, 17 for 172 and just kind of took that final drive over. He was just, he won the game. He won the game, Jimmy. And my other take from that I wrote down is how fucking great is Michael Irvin?
He was awesome at the end of the game.
Like a fucking high school kid.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
I wish I had the fandom of one of my teams that Michael Irvin has for the University of Miami.
I wish I was friends with Michael Irvin.
He seems like a cool dude.
How about he just went over in the middle of the post-game conversation and kissed the crystal ball right on the cheek?
Awesome.
The guy's awesome. I love Irving. All right, did you see any of the Jake Paul fight? He got his face punched in. It took a few rounds.
Broke his jaw.
God, was I happy to see him get
Two
his head
places.
punched in.
Yeah, he broke his jaw. And that's what happens when you fight a 36-year-old
That
fighter.
right hand, that little touch, and then boom, right across, just melted him.
Knocked him the fuck out. But Jake Paul's been fighting either over-the-hill boxers or UFC fighters. The UFC fighters he's fought, in a UFC match, he'd get murdered. He's fighting him in a boxing match. It's a different sport.
Right.
It was fun to watch,
He would
actually. In this one, like, he danced around for a while. And I don't mean dance like Mayweather, and I'm not comparing him to Mayweather, but his feet were moving a lot, right? He's going around the edge over and over. And at the end of either the fourth or the fifth, somebody outside said some shit. I think it was Logan Paul said some shit. And you saw the whole approach change. And all of a sudden, he's like, okay, you want to see the right hand. Okay. And it just went from there, and it was over pretty quick.
Yeah, that's what happens when a true prize fighter fights a Fugazi.
He looked huge next to him.
So I had Kenny, who's been on our show before. We were texting on the fight. I had one of my biggest plays of the year in this fight, and it was over 2.5 rounds. And before the fight started, Kenny was like, "Are you seriously?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, because here's the thing. He's going to run around the ring, and he is not – Netflix and Paul are not going to let this thing go under 2.5 rounds. This thing's going to go 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds.
Agreed.
And it was only minus 160, and I just loaded up Jimmy.
No, that's smart. It's a great point because they're not going to let it go under. But it's also not a UFC fight. It's not a thing. It's not. They're not 5-minute rounds or 3-minute rounds.
Well, it was an extended ring too, so he had more room to run.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
22-foot ring.
But like, it's not a UFC fight. They're not 5-minute rounds. There's not something that can clip you. There's that, like. So yeah, and the fact that he got his jaw broke with getting punched with a goal. What did they have 10 or 12 ounce gloves on? Doesn't matter.
12.
I said Derrick Henry. You said Mark Andrews. You screwed me. Venmo me 25. Go ahead.
Nope. So yeah. Yeah, no, I think that it's awesome that he finally got knocked out, and the world is right again. Like everybody you can beat up to Jake Paul's credit, he got in the ring with people that were dangerous. He 100% did. Right? It's not like
Tyson was 100 years old, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, but
those people could have hurt him.
Knock us out.
Tyson was 58.
He's 58.
I'm not fighting Tyson. You?
No.
Thank you.
I also don't.
No
look
chance.
Like Paul.
Okay,
yeah, no
fair
chance.
enough.
But I don't look like Paul, and I haven't been training to box. Paul's been training to box for 6-7 years now. It's not like he's a newcomer to this.
Correct.
But there's levels, and he tried to fight a guy that was a champion.
Did you guys see the preview, like the lead up?
No.
Dude, Layla Ali was the funniest. Like Muhammad Ali's daughter was like, she was trying to sell it, and they just pressed her with questions, and finally she's like, I don't know, man. He's a little crazy. Like, he shouldn't be fighting this guy. He's gonna get killed in there. Like, they couldn't withhold it, you know?
It's not gonna end well.
She wasn't wrong.
No, she wasn't wrong.
Yeah. Nope.
All right. We recorded Thursday night, Jimmy. Thursday night we were on here, and we were kind of going back and forth, and me and Jimmy had connection issues with Prime, so we were kind of watching on ESPN. So we admittedly were kind of flying blind. I wish Ryan screamed a little harder on what was going on. I didn't know that the 2-point conversion was no good, and then the ref said, just kidding, before the Seahawks kicked off. We're going to give you the 2 points. So once again, the refs had decided a game for a division championship and a number 1 seed in this league. I watched it. I didn't see indisputable evidence that it should have been a fumble and a recovery by the Seahawks for a 2-point conversion. I don't understand it. Should we go ref in the NFL, the three of us? I think we'd be a great crew because they're awful, Jimmy. Awful.
Well, that's what probably the NFL still has part-time refs. They all have jobs. They're like lawyers and doctors. They have a 9 to 5.
So why don't we get
they show up in ref on the weekends?
Retail multi-unit managers, because obviously the doctors and lawyers aren't cutting it.
No, but that's the problem. Like, you're printing money in the NFL. how are they not just on the payroll making $800,000 a year or whatever you should pay?
Just a ref.
Right, just a
Right.
ref. Yeah,
I agree.
How is it like they're
To study
covering
their
your
craft,
church
you know, the other 30
like
hours
they
a
do their
week or
job
whatever.
and then they come ref your church league game on the weekends. That's how we're treating it. It's
With
problematic.
that said, the Rams had every opportunity to win this game.
Yep.
Because they're supposed to have a decent defense, and they couldn't stop the Seahawks. 3 for 3 on 2-point conversions is embarrassing if you're a defense.
Yeah, not
Terrible.
great.
So you kind of deserve to lose the division, but should it have been 2 of 3 on 2-point conversions? Probably. So just again, another take here. We got on this. I know I sound like a broken record, but these refs are just fucking awful, Jimmy. Awful. And they decide every game. They can't help themselves.
I can't argue. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing either. Like, you're making a point that we both agree with. It's not dead air time. We got the cue. We're just okay.
Look, the Bears love to play with fire, and last night was just another fucking funny, awesome game to watch. It was
dropped it right in there at the end.
It was hysterical, but there were 2 roughing the passer calls that were absolutely absurd. And I know, again, I'm probably in the minority again because we want to protect these guys and blah, 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 and blah, 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 bullshit. The one that knocked Jordan Love out of the game, I had no issue with. The guy was coming in straight up. He didn't lead with his head. He went to make a tackle and their face mask hit. So he hit him hard. It's fucking football, folks.
So I'm going to go the other way on this. I know from playing contact sports like that, I just think the helmet to helmet, no matter how it hits, you have to somehow be responsible. There's lots of other situations where I want to err on the side of the defensive guy, the guy that can get hurt more, by probability. But man, I don't like these heads hitting because it hurts the quality of product, regardless of the player.
Then let's just make it flag football.
We can. I mean, that's different discussion.
Put some flags on the guys and let's play flag football and retire the NFL. Because if I'm a defender running full speed and he went to wrap him up and the heads went down and they hit. And yes, it was a very forceful hit.
How about this? It's subjective. So depends on the situation. I'll go with that. It's not every time a helmet hits, but when there's any intent, I think it's got to go.
But did you think there was intent on the Bears player? He went in and their face mask hit and he went down. I mean, he was trying to make a play and wrap him up. How else is he supposed to do it? He's coming straight at him.
It's kind of like the drop. Whatever the hip drop down thing. It's kind of difficult. It's all about intent, right?
I don't think that Bears defender went in saying, I'm going to put Jordan Love out of this game.
No, I don't think so either. So if you're going by intent, if that's what it is, then I'm with you there.
And that's my problem. Same with look, I get it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, if you body slam the quarterback and belly flop on him, it should be 15 yards. But if you're putting him down and try to roll off him but happen to land on him, to get a 15-yard penalty is absurd.
I agree with you 100%.
I would not be happier the Bears won that game because those 2 roughing the passers were egregious and stupid. And at that point, they flipped the game in the Packers' favor. With that said, if the Bears lost, I would have been on here saying they're a fraud too, and they deserve to lose. You lost to a backup quarterback at home. Jimmy, you didn't hear any of that, but I was basically talking about the passer calls.
Yeah, I didn't catch,
including the one that knocked Love out. I did not think was a penalty. I thought that was a terrible call.
The shoulder, potentially a problem.
Yeah, no opinion there.
Nah, I mean, I vaguely watched that game. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I know we're on a sports podcast, and I should, but at that point, I was on the JMU game and locked in.
Different sport.
You're watching the JMU game over a game that was like deciding a conference.
Yeah, I was because I had money on that one.
Sweet. Why wouldn't you just bet the Bears? Move on with life. All right. As we're going here, Patriots, Ravens, 7-0 Ravens. So, but the Patriots are driving for Ryan, so that's good for him. Bills get by your Browns, Jimmy, 23-20. But again, are we a little concerned here about the Bills?
I mean, I would be to a point. They couldn't stop Shador Sanders from driving the ball down the field all day long, right? I mean, they did.
Speaking of that, is Judkins' 2026 season pretty much cooked now? Is he done?
I think he'll be back
Looks
probably
like it.
I think mid-season. Like you got to figure like
Broken
9
leg.
months.
It's too bad.
Yeah, yeah, probably 9 months, 10 months, like mid-season. I will tell you though. I know we're not talking about this because nobody gives a fuck, but the Browns rookie class is fantastic. Like they drafted great. They had Judkins.
They're fantastic. They're 3-12. How could they? I mean, they're fantastic.
No, but yes, and Judkins, Fannin Jr. looks awesome.
Awesome. 3-12.
Schlesinger looks great.
Great. 3-12.
Mason Graham looks great.
Graham, awesome. 3-12.
I know, I get it, but we also like you have to feel good about the people that they drafted. I feel very good about it.
Feel
And
awesome.
I think if they have another draft class like this,
They'll be 5-12.
no. I mean, you can hate all you want, but again,
I'm not hating.
I don't remember coming out of a draft class like remembering all the names that they drafted and thinking like, holy shit, they actually hit on the draft this year.
Yeah, we got on here in the end of May and said Cleveland won the draft. Did we not?
Yeah, and they did. The problem, like Dylan Gabriel, isn't the guy. Like they should have probably started Shador, whether he's the guy or not, all along, because Dylan Gabriel clearly isn't the guy. Dylan Gabriel, to me, is a great backup quarterback, and I don't mean that insultingly. Like he looks like a guy that could be a really good backup. He could have a long career as a backup, but he's not. He's not going to lead your franchise. And I don't know if Shador is either, but they did a very good. Mason Graham looked awesome. Schlesinger looked awesome. Judkins looks great. Fannin was like almost an afterthought in the draft. Looks unbelievable. Like they had a great draft class, and that's what they need because they still have a huge salary cap hit on Deshaun Watson one more year. So, but if I'm to go back to your question, if I'm the Bills, am I concerned? Probably, but about the defense, not the offense, right?
Yeah,
I'm
I
concerned about the defense.
I agree. And look, we told you on our last show, me and Jimmy were saying, and Jimmy was very adamant about this, and I think Ryan, you agreed. The Chargers destroy the Cowboys 34-17, and the Chargers are I don't know what we're doing here. The Chargers are a good team, and Herbert has been a phenomenal quarterback. He's won games when he had to, and we knew they were going to pick apart this team. 34-17 Chargers.
Yeah.
All right. My take, and we're gonna give myself a little pat in the back. I told you the Titans were gonna blow the Chiefs out, and it wasn't gonna be close. Did I not? 26-9 Titans.
And then Gardner Minshew got hurt, and they put a guy in that had one NFL snap.
Didn't matter. They were gonna win the game anyway.
Yeah, and it was curtains. Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. The Chiefs have nothing to play for and no quarterback.
The Bungles take out we touched on this before, the Dolphins. It was nice both teams showed up and actually kind of cared. The Bengals off, look, we've said this since September. The Bengals offense was always going to be one of the best. The defense is just, oh my God, bad. But
yeah, it's funny today. Like some of the plays they made on offense were just unbelievable, and it was like a joke. Like they were just pretending to try. You know, like ha ha ha, look at this, like AAU kind of shit. You know.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
And they just dominated, but then their defense is horrid. And I don't know how their special team can't be that good. Like
horrid.
How's that possible? But then again, they spent what $160 million on the 3 offensive players. Yep. How do you balance from that? It's hard.
Well, you got to draft the right defensive players. Then that's the problem. You got to make
quickly. That's a very short window, and you got to keep doing it over and over if you got that kind of dedicated money already.
Saints destroy the Jets, which was also something we said here. This quarterback for the Saints, I mean, Jimmy, I think they might have it figured out here.
I said that. I think Tyler Shuck might be he might be they're 3-1 in the last 4 games.
Jimmy's going to give us a little education here on our fantasy league because I don't know the rules. Jimmy does. I picked him off the waiver wires. Does that mean I get to keep him in round 17?
I don't. Yeah, you get to keep him late next year. Yes,
because I will be keeping him.
Oh God!
Yeah. No, and we started him a couple times this year. Tyler Shuck might be the real deal. They're 3-1 the last few weeks. Like, if you're a New Orleans fan, I don't know why you're listening to
Be
this
very
podcast.
happy if I was a New Orleans fan. So you had him and dropped him?
Yeah, but,
Right.
which I'm okay with because but we played him
Virtual
a
time,
couple
Jimmy.
games.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, we played him a couple games when we needed him, and he, he might be an actual quarterback.
I think he's very good. He's coming to his own. I think
He looked good today.
In other New
looked
Orleans
good the last
news,
2 weeks.
did Hill become the first? I believe they were talking about him becoming the first 1,000-yard passer, receiver, and running back to score 1,000 yards.
Oh, no shit.
I think that's the first person in history. He was right on the verge as like the, let's call it 6:30 hour was about.
It's a cool stat. Vikings beat the Giants. Do we care?
Nope. You know why here's why we don't
Giants
care.
fucking suck, like I said last time.
Here's why we don't care.
Suck.
There was 3 minutes left to go in the second quarter, and Jackson Dart hadn't completed a pass. And at the flip side, J.J. McCarthy had like 140 yards. He was like 9 of 14. Like that was a game that didn't matter in the scope of things at all.
All right. Falcons beat the Cardinals 26-19, but none of us care, correct?
Nobody cares.
That was an avoid.
Not only do we not care, but nobody cares.
Agree. Texans keep hope alive for the division, for the playoffs, for everything, and
don't give a fuck. I avoided it.
Sneak by the Raiders 23-21. Jimmy, what do you expect from this team going forward?
So, look, I was high on the Texans after the last few weeks with their defense, but I'm back down on them. They have no offensive line. They can't protect Stroud. They have to figure it out. They should have blown the Raiders out of the building. I thought the Texans, maybe they were going to be the team because their defense was so good. Like, this is the team. And now I'm like, nope, they're the Texans. They're done. Not going to work.
They are the Texans. That's a good point.
It's not going to work.
And we'll get into that more on our next show when we go more into the NFL futures. All right. Now let's go over the ones I kind of waited on. And I don't even know where to start. We'll start here. I think I already said this earlier, but I'm going to make a public apology. Jimmy, you can pile on. Ryan, I don't really remember if you were
I got it right here. Which one?
As bad as us. But my apologies to Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jags. You fucked us over a couple of years ago. We had a huge play on you when you were good, and that soured me and Jimmy on you. We made a huge play on you on a Monday Night Football game, and we lost our whole account. So that pissed us off. We didn't think you were very good. And then last year, you were terrible. And then you came out this year, and we didn't think you were a very good team. But you won, and we said, hey, you're the worst this team of all time. Just kind of like the Vikings last year, right, Jimmy? We're like, you're the worst this, 10 and whatever team of all time, and you're the worst. They go into Denver and get a win. And I watched a lot of this game. They looked impressive. Trevor Lawrence looked impressive. The defense looked impressive. This is a legit problem for anyone who matches up with them in the playoffs. I apologize to Jacksonville, the fan base, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne. I can't believe he's still there, but he is. They're a good team, Jimmy. I don't know what else to say.
I ain't apologize. They were freaking terrible last year, and finally they're walking around with some swagger. Good for them. More power to them. But they got a lot to prove before they get too much respect.
Yeah, look, Liam Cohen's proven to be a good coach, and they're winning games. The problem early in the year was they were winning them, but there was like he falls down, this happens, he falls in. Like it felt lucky. But now they go in, they beat Denver. I think you got to give credit where credit's due. I do also think it's a indictment on Denver. Look, Sean Payton's a great coach. Bo Nix, great college career, played a lot of games. So the fact that he's a second-year QB and he's made things happen, it's not super surprising. But they're winning a lot of nail-biters, and that doesn't work well when you get into the playoffs. So I don't believe in the Broncos either.
They just knocked the Broncos around 34-20. It wasn't even competitive.
No, I'm talking about the Broncos.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, I think so they did knock the Broncos around, but the Broncos, I think, have also been getting lucky.
The Broncos are back. They're back in a dogfight with the Chargers. They better win a couple games here, or the Chargers could win this division.
That's what I'm saying. So I think the Jags are legit. I will concede that I was overly critical of them, but I also think that the Broncos. Look, think about the Broncos game against the Giants when they snuck out. Like they've just snuck out of a lot of games this year, and I don't believe in either of them. But I will say that Jacksonville's not as bad as I can, said that they were.
I already went off at the beginning of the show in the open about frauds, and I talked about the Lions at depth. Look, I don't care that Jared Goff was 34-54 for 363 yards and 3 TDs. If you're a winner, you win. He is not a winner. He's a loser, and he loses.
I don't disagree, but what I will say, even because I know you love him, is if Josh Allen doesn't get a Super Bowl this year, you got to say the same thing about him.
But he's going to be in the playoffs, correct?
He will be.
He's gonna have a chip in a seat, as they say in poker.
But Josh Allen needs to get to the Super Bowl this year. There's no two ways about it. If not now, when? Next year, when Lamar and Patrick are back there? Like, what if he doesn't get there now? When does he do it?
I get your point. Trade Jared Goff for 7th round pick and fire Dan Campbell. Ryan, your thoughts?
I still think you're too aggressive with that.
Yeah, overreaction Sunday night.
They're gonna miss the playoffs. Fuck them. You miss the playoffs, you're out.
Okay, find me better.
I will.
Both spots.
I can find you better right now.
Okay.
You put me there.
Yeah.
I can coach the Lions much better than Dan Campbell right now.
All right. Fair enough, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, he'll motivate him way better. Dan Campbell's a good coach. He needs to find a new offensive coordinator. He lost both coordinators. It's a tough spot to be in. You lose your defensive coordinator, your offensive coordinator. You got to replace everybody.
He's subpar at best.
Yeah. No, I think he's a good. I think he's a good leader of.
I was going to say leader.
He's not the X's and O's guy. That's not his thing.
He fooled us all. He sucks. All right, Jimmy. This is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. They still are a favorite to win the division somehow, and that's because if they win the next two, they're going to be the division champs. But Baker Mayfield and the Bucs are the definition of frauds. They are the terrible defense, but forget the defense for a minute. If you're Baker Mayfield, and again, we both like him. In a game this big, you can't pass for 145 yards. And one TD and one INT. You can't. You just can't.
Yep.
And I want to credit Ryan with one thing. I made a nice bet, not like life-changing money, but a couple units. I had 5 units on it. I bet 5 units plus 160 on a Mike Evans TD based on Ryan's rant on this show last time about how mad Mike Evans was. So thank you, Ryan. I owe you that one.
Yeah. Look, Baker has to be better. You got to show up in the big spot. Yeah.
It's just you can't pass.
But just go back to Tampa. Every year, Tampa gets in the playoffs limping every year. They get there because the division's terrible, not because they're great, right? Like they get there because
they've had injury issues too.
Carolina
both
sucks.
Receivers.
Well, and Jimmy, that's not going to happen anymore because the Saints are going to get better with the quarterback on the rise.
Yeah, 100%.
The Falcons still have a decent team, so eventually they could pop. Carolina is good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look,
if you've got Bucky Irving, Shaun White, you've got Mike Evans and Ibuka.
You can't lose that game, Jimmy.
You can't lose. I think it's more on Todd Bowles than anything else. You gotta find a way to stop him. You gotta find a way to, yeah.
All right, we got a couple questions from the fans and the show. So, and then they want an update. I'll end with the update, and then we'll end with that. But they said, how would you approach betting for the last 2 weeks of the NFL season? So I'll let Jimmy go after me. For me, it's a couple things. It's obviously the games that matter. I'm looking to see how big that spread is. So if a team that needs to win is playing a team that's playing for nothing, but the spread is huge, I might lean to take the points because they overvalue the team that has to win sometimes. And then the thing I do is I do a deep dive on contract incentives. So if there is a player that needs to get X amount of yards or needs to score a TD or needs to do this or needs to do that, I'll make a lot of prop bets the last 2 weeks. A good example I can give to you was before we started this show last year, me and Jimmy, we had a long talk about we got to make a huge play on Mike Evans because there's no way they're not going to let him get to 1,000 yards. And sure enough, with what was it, Jimmy? 45 seconds to go in a game that they had already won. Baker and Evans were still out there to throw 2 passes to Evans to make sure he got over that mark to get the contract incentive. So I look for a lot of contract incentive plays, and then I look to see the value on an underdog versus a team that has to win, because sometimes they just weigh it way too much to the favorite. How do you play it?
No, I agree 100%. You got to look at the games that matter first, right? The games that don't matter, the Cincinnati versus Miami today, I want no part of, because you just don't know who's going to show up. Like, you have no idea.
Right.
Make the line whatever you want. You don't know who's coming to play and who's not going to play. So I think Greg hit the nail on the head. Look for the people with incentives. Look at people that are close to milestones, and then look at games that actually matter, right? Look, it's the same thing in fantasy. I say it all the time. When you're drafting fantasy, nobody thinks about this, but draft players that you think will have some skin in the game at the end of the year, right? If they're on a bad team and they're a great player, what are they doing in week 16 when you're in the playoffs, right? If they're on a team that's in the playoffs, making a push, playing for position, probably going to perform better. So,
well, you don't see this much, but Ryan missed it, but we'll update him. Derrick Henry fumbles. Patriots recover.
Just saw. That's what, his third big one this year, no?
Yep. So
yeah, he had a couple early in the year. Then he didn't do it at all.
And I respect his reaction, by the way. I'm not making fun of the guy.
No, it was
He's
a
an
great
unbelievable
reaction.
player.
He handled it like a champ.
Yeah. You got to respect the guy.
I do. I love him.
Jimmy, the next question we got was, what's the best advice you'd give someone who just opened a sports betting account?
Figure out what your unit is and stick to it.
What would you say, Ryan?
I'm going to add something to that. I think that's a great start. But I also, like today, I went in and I was like, okay, this I'm comfortable with. This I'm not so sure. So maybe it's a half unit, right? This I really like, go 2 or 3. And you got to kind of be willing to every week. If you just bet everything even, that doesn't do shit. You got to pick your poison.
Yeah, like when you're playing blackjack, when you get on a roll, you got to start betting bigger.
So Ryan just said something that's spot on, especially for a novice gambler. He's 100% correct. This is what I would tell you. If you're doing this to have fun, then do whatever the fuck you want. Make $4 parlay bets that win $5,000 that probably will never hit. Have a great time, bet whatever you want. If you're doing it to try to make money, to try to make a little something here and there, what Ryan said is 100% right. The number one thing I can advise you on is bankroll management. You got to change your bets, meaning you can't bet the same thing every time. If you love something, you got to go higher than if you just are mediocre on it. That's how I've always bet. That's how Jimmy has learned to bet now, where if you like something, maybe it's, a $50 play. If you love something, maybe it's a $100 play. If you think it's the greatest bet of all time, maybe it's a $200 play. You got to change your units. You got to bet based on how much you love it. And that's the best advice I can give you. It all comes down to that. Anything to add, boys?
Nope. I will add that I lost a very strong parlay that I had going because Bam Adebayo couldn't get one block in the game. But everything else hit. No, I agree completely. The last thing I'll say is take advantage of good promotions that the books have.
That's a good call by Jimmy too. Yeah, take advantage of the bonuses.
Take advantage of the good bonus. Like when they have a good one, take advantage of it. If it's a bullshit one, don't. All right.
Greg, I think between the two of us, we just hit some good nails on the head there.
Yeah, it's very good.
Dipshits.
Listen to that advice, everyone. That's good advice. And we have a mixed bag here. When you listen to this podcast, we have a mixed bag. We got someone who's been doing it, literally hasn't missed a day of betting since they were probably 12 years old. We got a novice in Ryan who bets, $4 or $5, $10 a game. We got Jimmy who's a $20 bettor. And then myself can go, I'm not going to say, but anywhere from very small to a number that would make you cringe. All right, last question, and I love it. Thank you. I won't shout out who it was, but loyal listener says, all right, you got to give us a fantasy update. We've been following you all year long. What's happened in your fantasy league? Jimmy's out, if you haven't been paying attention. Jimmy lost 3 in a row. They shit the bed. It's unfortunate.
With big points, right?
We had a great performance,
He had
and
a
we
great
lost.
performance in the playoffs. He shit the bed the last 2 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah.
But I got in the exact same situation as Jimmy did. Kyle Pitts went off. My opponent has them, and they were projected to win. But I had a really good comeback today. Give myself a puncher's chance tomorrow. We're down to 2 players. I got George Kittle. He's got Taylor. And I have a 17-point lead.
I like your odds.
I like your odds too, but you never know. You never do know.
You never know. If we can keep Taylor, I think, Jimmy, from scoring 2 touchdowns, and Kittle just has his average game, I think I move on. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Somewhere
if Taylor
in that neighborhood.
Scores twice, I think I'm fucked.
Yep, I agree.
I think there's no way you can avoid it if he scores twice and gets over like 40 yards, which
unless,
is inevitable, right?
Unless Kittle scores once. If Kittle can get a TD, it's over.
If Kittle can get a TD and like 60 yards, I think you're probably good.
So right now, the projections have me as a 62% chance to win.
Let's go.
As far as Jimmy, it looks like he's going to drop his 4th straight, but he'll get a better draft pick.
We're trying to win. We've got Derrick Henry going. Drake May against us, not doing anything yet. That's good news. See what happens.
Yeah, Jackson Dart. It's just sad that you're actually losing because Jackson Dart put up maybe one of the worst scores I've ever. Jimmy, did you see a score?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Scored 2 100ths of a point today.
Yeah.
What?
Should have gotten nothing.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Really bad. But Jimmy's lineup did not come to play. Baker had a terrible game. Let's see. Swift didn't do much.
Nope.
He's got Henry going, but CJ didn't do much for Jimmy. Like, we're gonna end the show with this, and then we're gonna go into our Christmas show. You can't keep CJ next year. You gotta let it go, bro.
Yeah, probably time.
I know you love him. You gotta let it go.
Probably time.
There's new blood out there somewhere.
It's time to part ways, Jimmy. Do you agree? Do you and Anthony?
Yeah,
agree?
no, it's probably time we part ways.
Yeah.
It was good value in the 17th round.
It was. This year, you made the right call. But going forward, it's time. You got to let it go. All right, we appreciate you listening. Again, follow us on X at WhoYouGot33. Please hit that like, subscribe button after watching, and please watch our YouTube shorts as they are taking off. You can follow us on TikTok, Jimmy, at what?
We got 33.
WhoYouGot33. Please continue to email us your comments, questions, concerns at WhoYouGot33@gmail. If you're in Maryland and you see Ryan, he'll remind you to subscribe to the show. Jimmy, any final words?
Merry Christmas.
Well, that's for the next episode, but that's fine. Ryan, your thoughts?
Have a happy Sunday night.
Happy Sunday night. Let's see what happens in this Patriots game. I still like the Ravens to win, but it's going to be a good one. All right, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.